I haven't made a video in a minute. It's been a while. Just came home for the day. I woke up and just came home, hanged out with a couple friends, hit a lift, which was nice. I don't know, there's something about like this is my home, you know? I don't feel like college is my home at all. Well, I remember senior year of high school, I got these flashes of these I don't know if lucid is the right word, but these moments, right? These flashes of wow, this is I would get flashes of a feeling, and that feeling in my brain is associated with home and familial connection, which not on some cringy stuff. I feel like I spend a lot of time there, you get to know all the people a lot, and there's just something about that familiarity, right? I walk into my high school, I look to my right, I know the receptionist. It's the same receptionist that's been there for 3 years. I say, oh, what's up, Miss Blank? And then, then you walk in, and every morning, if you walk in at the right time, you, there's one of the counselors, and I've known the counselor for 4 years. And it's my counselor, I think. It's either one, right? And if it's my counselor, oh, what's up, Mrs. Blank? And then I'm oh, I was being oh, I'm doing good. She's blah, 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 and you make small talk, and she knows what's up, and she knows me really well, and she knows my issues. She knew my issues a lot, and it's she knows everything. And then I walk in, and I'm I'm a senior now, so I just go upstairs and bump into someone I know, and you say, hey, what's up? You bump into a teacher, and you know all the teachers, and I went to a smaller school, so I think this is kind of exaggerated, right? And and that feeling, I would get flashes, right, of just wow, this is family, and that's the same thing I get now, or sorry, and those flashes are very I don't know, those mean a lot to me. And whenever I come back from college and I come back to my hometown, the second I hit a street that's I've been on the street 1,000 times, 10,000 times maybe. That might be an exaggeration. Hundreds and hundreds of times, or thousands of times, and I get this feeling of I was driving home this morning, and I drive 5-10 minutes, and I still feel wow, I'm at UConn. This is UConn territory, even though the people around, it's not it's just a whole different town. It's not associated with UConn at all, and they have their own industry and stuff, but it's still in my brain. It feels this is UConn. If I'm around here, I'm gonna be at UConn, and I keep that feeling for a while, right, until I get to the last maybe 10 minutes of my drive, and it feels a weight is off my shoulders. I don't have to put on a character anymore. I don't have to be college Malik. I can just be who who are you really is a difficult question to answer. We are all aspects of we're all, I think this is a pretty low level concept. Who you are to your mom is gonna be different than who you are to your brother, and who you are to your teacher is gonna be different than your friends. Now the question is, who are you really? Who are you to yourself? And that is a question, that's probably one of the most fundamental questions you will ever have to conquer in your life. And it's and that's not a very articulable answer. I don't think there's an articulable answer to that question where can you say, oh, I'm XYZ, that's who I am. Because Because what will you say? Who is Malik, right? Let's just take me for an example. I am a mechanical engineering student in the UConn Honors Program who is pursuing an undergraduate degree in mechanical engineering, who would like to concentrate in aerospace to build, to work in the defense industry for the United States government. Is that Malik? I think that the ego inside would like to say, no, I am so complex. I am, it's impossible to label the complexness of who I am, because I am so this, I have this, I do this, I do that. Maybe it is that simple. That's who I am. That's what I'm doing. I'm a student right now. There's a very broad label. You're a student. And I do all the things that entails being a student. I study, I work out, I hang out with friends, I play video games, I, try to go out and, do stuff, and that's it. I'm a student. That's it. But again, the ego inside wants to say that I'm more complex than that, and that there's something more to it. But I don't know what that is. And again, I think that's one of those big questions. But if I'm trying to parse it all together, I think that when I'm coming home and I feel the weight off my shoulders of I'm at home, maybe that moment I'm shedding off some layer that is not me, or I'm taking off some aspect that is not me, right? Like, the person I am at UConn is different than the person I am at home. Which one is closer to who I truly am? I don't know. But I would hazard a guess that I feel more like myself when I'm at home because I'm more familiar with it. But eventually, like in high school, for example, the first time I walked into my high school, I felt so out of place. I was chubby wearing a pair of black sweatpants and black sweatshirt that was 2 sizes too small, and I had a mask on, and my hair was a bowl cut, and I had no friends, and I did not feel like myself at all. I felt really weird, but then eventually the familiarity developed. And there's another question: is over time am I taking away? Are you like? How do I say this? Okay, I have a mental image in my mind, and I want to paint it perfectly. So let's start. Okay, imagine you have your true self over here. Okay, and then you got like the self that you're kind of not pretending, because it's still you, but the self that you're conforming to, right? Like, school Malik over here, and this is Malik over here. At first when you're in an unfamiliar setting, like it's the first time, I went to high school, right? I'm over here. I'm almost pretty much dead on right here. And slowly over time, the question is, does the true self come closer to this, the Malik I'm being at school, and then I feel very comfortable because they coincide with each other? Or does the Malik self slowly become more and more like who I am over here? Now, you're probably sitting there thinking, Malik, shut the hell up, brother. Like, what are we talking about here? This doesn't really matter. Like, this is just like what does this matter, right? I think, granted, I don't know. I don't really know either. I mean, shit, I'm just thinking. But I guess that's the point. Again, thinking is very. I have a lot of thoughts, right? Because I haven't talked in a while. But there is a tangible and real benefit to thinking more and thinking critically. And even if maybe the exact thoughts you're thinking are not important, the skill of talking to yourself, the skill of being able to parse through your own thoughts is important. And I know that my ability to do this will pay off dividends in the future. Doing what? I don't know. But I know it will matter. So screw you if you're sitting there thinking, what the hell is this Asian kid talking about? But yeah, whatever. But I think that this matters. It's like, is there a true self out there that we have, or are we just ever changing to conform to the environments that we're in? Do we change, or do we drift back to some arbitrary true self? I don't know. I would hazard a guess that we conform more. That's probably true because, you know, it's not like you're born with a true identity. You develop an identity over time based off the environments you're in. Yeah, that makes sense. So I bet you conform over time. And then eventually it feels like the true self you have is the true, like, feels like who you are in like a certain foreign environment that has become familiar. Feels like your true self because you have developed to be more conformed into that environment. That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's kind of neat. You know, there's a value in that. There's a value in thinking through this. Like, I know there is. And that's the thing. I'm doing the philosophy class, right? Or the philosophy minor. Actually, I gotta figure that out. I think I gotta email somebody about that. I gotta do that. But for me, see, I don't know if I'm doing philosophy minor. Honestly, I'm thinking about maybe I want to do a theology minor. I don't know. I don't even know if that's a thing. I gotta look into that. I don't know if UConn would even have theology classes because it's like a thing. But I'm saying it'd be cool, or something to do with theology, because I think I'm more interested in humans I guess maybe like anthropological relationship, is that the word, with religion, or like the human connection with religion, or the human relationship with religion, than I am with philosophy. Because philosophy's cool. I like it. I mean, I think it's interesting. But I think for me personally, I think that philosophy is more of a personal journey that I want to step into, instead of a journey of like sitting and reading like I think that a lot of subjects, it's very beneficial to have a guide, right? Because, you know, for physics, right? I'm taking physics 2 right now, and physics 2 is electromagnetism and like it's like electricity, electromagnetism, what else is like, I think there's optics and stuff, and like we're like, I don't know, we're like building circuits. I don't know. It's like, it's cool, right? But like, it's very important to have a teacher there, because not that, you know, it's impossible to learn it without a teacher, but like just the curriculum is what I'm getting at, is very important. It's like, you know, someone much smarter than me decided that physics 2, you're going to learn about electromagnetism. When you have skills for physics 1, you could probably do more advanced, like more complex. You can do more complex, like kinematic stuff. But someone decided that's, you know, more important than me, that we gotta learn electromagnetism next. So it's like, that's important to have that guidance. But for philosophy, I don't think it's as important, where it's such a broad field where there's so much different topics. It's like, I'm sure there is an optimal like list of ways to learn about it, and it probably does influence your own philosophical beliefs. But I think that I don't feel like I need to have that guidance. I would rather take it on as a personal journey, maybe. And I'm still debating this. I'm not like 100% set. So maybe I am going to stick with the philosophy minor and like really, you know, delve into that. But I think the academic version of philosophy is not as interesting to me as the personal philosophy side, where it's like, for me, I think that, I mean, for me, I think I am very interested in the personal side of philosophy, like how to live a good life, the ethics side, not as much in the, like right now I'm taking epistemology, and it's low-key, I don't see the value in it. And that's coming from someone who would, you know, fight tooth and nail defending the value of like ethics, or I don't know, more stuff that other people would also be like, yeah, what's the value in that? You know, who cares? You know, who the fuck cares about a deontology? And fair enough, but for me, I'm having this kind of the same opinion about epistemology. Like, one, I'm questioning, why is this the pursuit of, okay, take a step back. What is epistemology, Malik? Epistemology is epista, right? Or epist, I think. I don't know, the prefix or whatever, is from the Greek word of knowledge. And it is the knowledge of knowledge, or the study of knowledge. And right now we're really like, I don't know, we're like, I'm kind of behind in the class. I'm not really focused. But it's because I'm not as interested, to be honest, because I don't see the value in it. And right now we're learning about, I don't know, like, I gotta know, I gotta be able to name this because this is important to name. Induction, the problem of induction. It basically is like, how do we know anything? Because, how do we know for sure, 1,000,000%, 100%, 100%, how do we know that the sun is going to rise in the east tomorrow and set in the west? How do we know the sun is even going to rise? And at first you say, it's risen every single time before and done that for millions and millions of years, billions of years. Or actually, probably not. I don't know how. It probably doesn't, because I would imagine with how the solar system works, and maybe it didn't, but thousands of years, it's always risen in the east. And so now you're like, yeah, it's gonna rise in the east. But it's really more of a thought experiment, like, but you don't know though, because like, shit, you don't know, dude. Sun could explode tomorrow. And the issue is, well, first we kind of examined where does knowledge come from, and this is the issue that arises when you look at where knowledge comes from, is that we have no quote-unquote right to assume that previous experiences or previous test cases or use cases or whatever would allude to the next case acting the exact same way, right? Now, as a as a budding engineer, I have to be like, we have assumed, I guess, quote unquote, we've assumed a lot of stuff, and we've gone to the moon, and we've built massive bridges and dams that have slowed down the rotation of the earth. We have built civilizations, whole entire civilizations based on the fact that something that happened in the past is going to happen again in the future. Egypt, the Nile, we've built massive pyramids. I'm talking to a piece of metal with a moving screen on it that is recording everything I'm saying, and it's gonna put it onto the phone using ones and zeros, and it's gonna freaking put it on the cloud, or the hell the cloud is. Well, put it in some data bank and or data center, and then I can post it on YouTube, and it's gonna be on there for the foreseeable future, or at least my whole life. That's pretty insane, and it's you see that and maybe we should just trust it. And see, that's the problem. It's I don't understand, because we know, right? And when I say the word know, in the epistemological sense, it's a word of much value. If you know something, you're making a grandiose claim. If you know something, you're saying I know this. This is true. And in philosophy, you can get your head smacked up straight if you be like, no, I know this, and then someone's like, but you didn't think about the problem of induction, and da-da-da-da-da, and then you're an idiot, right? And it's okay, fair enough, different field. I was just getting used to the terminology. But for me, I know that the sun's gonna rise tomorrow. Shit, I know it's gonna rise tomorrow. I know it's gonna rise vaguely in the east. And I know that there's going to be snow on the ground. It's not all going to melt today. I just know it. And I don't see any value in taking the next step of the epistemological no, of 1,000,000% is going to happen. I don't see the value, because, come on, we know it's going to happen. I take this can and I drop it. It drops, right? It doesn't, it doesn't float. It doesn't, float in the air because some infinitesimal small chance of some quantum field is arising in the area of space. The thing, I don't know, you make up some bullshit of how it could not fall, but for me, it's gonna fall, and I don't see the value in it of finding the next level of no, of I know 1,000,000% for 100% for sure, right? I just don't see the value. And then also, I don't understand why epistemology seems to be, and maybe it's not, and maybe there is, I haven't looked into it, and maybe there is some more empirical data or empirical testing that is done to, on the side of where is knowledge stored in the brain, how is knowledge retained in the brain. I'd imagine there probably is some neuroscience stuff. But for me, it's why is this falling on the philosophers? How are we ever going to find where knowledge comes from just sitting and thinking about it? Really, bruh? You're just trying to think yourself into a trap, or think yourself into a hole, and then die crazy. This doesn't seem very plausible. It doesn't seem like this should be a burden of the philosopher, you know? It seems like this should more be of a hard science should be taking on this problem, because there's like rationalists versus empiricists. You know, we knew knowledge from the start versus we learn knowledge, you know, during life, and then you go, okay, how do you learn knowledge? You learn it from freaking good God giving you good sense data so that you have a strong understanding of the world, and it's true because God is good and God wouldn't deceive you because he's perfect. Shout out Descartes. But or like we never, you know, you never really know something. You just have a collection of copies of various experiences that you have, and then you can map them onto new experiences to make predictions. That's like, shoot. I want to say, shit. There's so many, dude. These dudes were just like yapping it up, bro. There's hella people, dude. Like, I don't know. What was his name? His name like no, it's not Mill. It's not Mill, dude. It's not. Is it James? Maybe James said that. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But yeah, it's like, it's just, I don't know, right? I think yeah, so that's something I've just been on my mind. I don't really know the point, right? And I'm struggling to find the point. And then I forgot what I was talking about before, why I went on this whole tangent about understanding and knowing and But yeah, I think I think there is some value in, or I don't even know. I don't think there's value in learning about the connection of humanity to religion. I just find it fascinating for me. I mean, I think it's, I don't know. It's so interesting how important we think humans are, right? Like, we believe we are just so important, man. Like, I don't know, man. Like, we just think that we're just like this. We need God, and God chose us. It's like, it's just fascinating to me. I don't know, dude. It's like, yo, bro, this playlist is fucking, yeah. What else is up with my life, dude? What have I been thinking about? I got what's it called? Not Monday. I don't have Monday. I got a new phone because my other phone was broken. So, new camera alert on the phone. That's cool. Apply for a job at the student rec. I don't know. Gosh, it's quite... I wonder, man, what is... You know, one of the things I'm like, I wonder what this is, right? This is a thought I've had. I love Game of Thrones. You know me, you know I like Game of Thrones. A year ago, a little bit more than a year ago, I watched all of it in 4 days, okay? Oh my god, man, it's not even possible because like literally like 4 days is like 96 hours. Ooh, is that right? Yes. 96 is like literally 96 hours and the runtime of it is like 70 hours. I guess that'll be impossible. I did that shit, okay? I pulled like 16-hour shifts on that show. woke up, eat, sleep. Actually, I didn't eat. I barely slept. I barely even used the bathroom. I was watching Game of Thrones, bro. And that shit was peak. That was genuinely the most peak show I ever watched. And, well, yeah, Avatar's still there. But I watched it in 4 days, right? And now, the thing that prompted me to start watching it, I was scrolling on TikTok, as you do, and I got this edit, right? And it's like the first Game of Thrones that I ever saw, and it was like, I can't remember what the edit was. I don't know what the theme was. It was just an edit, right? I think, if I had to guess, it was like the sound that goes like, dun, 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 dun. Oh no, fuck, it's not right at all. It's like, dun, 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 dun. You guys know what I'm saying? It's like really fast, and it goes, you know what I mean? It's like really, really fast, and then it's like slows down. So it's like a bunch of clips, and then it's like long clip because there's a beat, and there's a long clip because there's a beat. And maybe it wasn't that one, but there was this one clip I saw in this edit that made me watch Game of Thrones. And spoiler alert, this is major spoiler alert. If you haven't watched Game of Thrones yet, skip to, I don't know, and I'm not gonna add in the post-credit scene. You're just gonna have to know. There's gonna be a spoiler now. It was the clip of Jon Snow right after Rickon got shot in the bone by Ramsay. It goes. Jon Snow takes off his sword belt. He rips open the Valyrian steel sword long claw that he got from Mormont, and the camera shows the back of him as he grips his sword like this, right? And Jon Snow stares down the 4,000 men of the Bolton army, and he stands there, unfazed, crouches down to begin fighting. He knows no one's behind him. He knows it's 4,000 men versus one man in a steel sword, or in a Valyrian steel sword. What does he do? He stands there and he fights. God, man. That's fucking, there's something about that. The indomitable human spirit, bruh. Like, he's like, in that moment, bro, right there, I had to know. I was like, that is the dopest shit I've ever seen in my life. What could this guy possibly have gone through, known about, or what was making him stand there and fight? He knew he was dead. And, you know, he knew that he was gonna die. He knew it. You're staring down 4,000 men, people charging at him with horses, you know, arrows flying in the air, dudes with swords, shields, everything, lance, everything. And he stands there, and he faces the music, and he fights. He fights. He has no reason to. It doesn't change the outcome. He fights. He doesn't fight. Maybe he kills a dude or two, and then he dies. He doesn't fight. He'll just die instantly, and it's fine. It doesn't matter. He's gonna die. Why? What is the point? What is the reason? Why does it matter that he stands there and he pulls his sword out and he fights? Now, spoiler alert, he actually doesn't die. I mean, Jon Snow's the GOAT, so, well, I mean, if y'all have read the books, which I have, then you understand that the Jon Snow in the show and the Jon Snow in the books is way different. And that Jon Snow in the show basically just becomes this, like, proto-mythical, like, person that is basically came back from the dead and can't die, and is like basically just like the quintessential TV hero of like, I never wanted it, I never asked for it, but I must fight. I must fight with all, and like, and not only that, but like in the book, he's actually much more methodical and more politically savvy. Isn't the best fighter, and is more. He wants a little bit more power. He wants the name of Stark when he's, you know, whatever. Okay. But yeah, he doesn't die. And yeah. But in his mind, in the moment, he knew he was going to die. At one point, why is he fighting? And now, here's another story. Or here's another picture to have in your brain. If you guys have read Harry Potter, I actually have a full set of Harry Potter books in my trunk. Don't ask me why. It's probably okay. Spoiler alert for Harry Potter, I guess. So yeah, don't watch this part if you haven't read Harry Potter. If you somehow haven't read Harry Potter, what are you doing? It's 2026, okay. But like if you haven't read it, don't listen to this part. For me, Harry Potter holds a very special place in my heart. I read it a shit ton. I listen to it before I go to bed every single night. Yesterday, I listened to. I'm sorry, I just started Deathly Hallows. I just finished Half-Blood Prince. I was listening to it to go to bed, and I don't know. It was just like the peacock scene with the dance, and Yaxley and Snape show up at Draco's, and they're like, and Yaxley's like, huh, Malfoy's always done himself well, hasn't he? And it's like the albino peacocks, and you guys get what I'm saying. And then Snape goes in, and he's like, do you think the Dark Lord will receive your Norse well? And he's like, yes. And then he like sits down next to the Dark Lord, and Yaxley's like, dang, bro, I wish I was Snape, and I got to fucking give Dome to Severus, or to Voldemort. And then like, there's like, Sirius Babbage, fucker, I don't even. What? What's her name? The Muggle studies teacher, you know what I'm saying? She's all tied up and she always do, and Peter Pettigrew's getting yelled at because she's like yelling, and Snape is, or not Snape, and Voldemort's like, oh, we talked about this, Peter, fucking shut her ass up, and then he's like, shut up and no, pew. And then, yeah, and then like, I don't know, Nagini like just fucking eats the shit out of her in a second, and Snape has to be like, no, I'm not friends with you, and it's like, blah, 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 so, right? That's what I listened to. That was useless information. Sorry. Still, spoiler alert though. I'm gonna talk, biggest spoiler in like the whole show, basically, or in the whole book. 7th book, The Pensive. I think that's what the chapter's called, or it's like Snape's memories or something. I don't know. It's the one where Harry puts in the tears from Snape and looks in a pensive, and Dumbledore goes, and Harry finds out that he's a Horcrux, and he has to go and kill himself. Yo, hold up! I'm low-key blanking on this plot point. There's a plot point I'm missing. What? How is this possible? I'm a Potterologist. I could get a degree in Harry Potter right now. What? Hold up. What is the plot point I'm missing? But whatever. Harry goes to the forest, and he doesn't fight back. That's the key part. And he gets, and then both of them like fall, and then Harry has that split-second moment, but in his head it's like a while, and he talks to Dumbledore, and Dumbledore says that he thought that there was a chance that Harry could come back, because, well, if you understand the magic of it, Voldemort doesn't kill Harry. He only kills a piece of his own soul that is in Harry, because Harry does not fight. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I'm missing a point. I'm missing a plot point, because Dumbledore tells Harry that for him to have a chance, he had to have a belief that he could live. It was something like that, right? No? Am I tripping? Hello? What the fuck? I don't know, dude. This makes me mad. Oops. But like, Harry is very, he's like, oh shit. And he tells Dumbledore, and he has this moment where he's like, what was the difference? What's the difference between going in? He's like, he says that, I guess he believes that it's the difference between dying with your head like this versus, going in there with your head held high. And that, again, is this moment of like, what's the point? You're going to some end, and it doesn't matter what the means is, right? It's like, whatever happens, something, in 5 minutes I'm going to die, right? Let's say that. Let's say in 5 minutes I will die, okay? My life will be over in 5 minutes time. Does it matter what I do in those 5 minutes? It's 5 minutes, man. In 5 minutes I'm dead. What am I gonna do in 5 minutes? Call my mom? I probably would call my mom. But what am I gonna do in 5 minutes, bro? Jack shit. I'm not gonna solve cancer. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna build a building. I'm not gonna climb a mountain. I'm not gonna go to Maine. And it's, to me, it's the difference between fighting, even though someone says, hey, you're gonna die in 5 minutes, and he's got like a gun pointed at me, right? You can be like, accept defeat, and be like, okay, 5 minutes, I'm gonna shoot into my brain, and boom, and the brain seed's gonna be gone, and I'm dead, right? Or, even though the odds are zero, right? Empirically, there's nothing there. You have no chance. He's like far back, but you could lunge at the guy and try to live, even though you know you're gonna die. And okay, this has been a very long-winded way of saying I don't know why. For me, it is a self-contingent conclusion that I have that it is better to pull the sword out and face the 4,000 men like Jon Snow did, to hold your head high while you walk to your own death like Harry Potter did, or lunge at the gunman that is in this make-believe scenario, right? Why is that to me the right choice? I don't know. And I think that some people around me have the opposite belief, that you don't. You sit there, you let it happen. And for me, it's a self-contingent conclusion. I don't need a why, or I don't need a why. I don't need for me to accept it as truth. I don't need more logic behind it. I don't need more backing. Right? I don't need more evidence, I guess is the way to put it. And if you have talked to me on any semi deep level about something philosophical or something personal or anything like that, I've probably asked why to you, and you're probably like, Alex, shut the fuck up. I don't give a shit. I just know this is the truth, and I'm always pushing for why. What is the reason behind it? What is something that, the why is almost as important as the what, because without the why enables you to do stuff with the what. Okay, like, I feel sad. If that's all you have, you just feel sad. You're just like, shit, well, fuck. And you can maybe be like, okay, I know that ice cream makes me happy, so maybe if I have ice cream, this happy will cancel out this sad. Okay, well, if you have the why, like, I'm sad because I'm really, really cold. And then you go eat the fucking ice cream. Now you're just more cold, and now you're just even more sad, right? That's a very elementary example, and it probably will never happen, because, like, it's pretty easy to be like, okay, I feel really down and sad because I'm cold as shit right now. That's probably very easy to find. But I think that if you have two brain cells to rub together, you can extrapolate this analogy and be like, okay, I see what you're talking about, right? You guys get it? It's like, you can do stuff with the why. But for some reason, for me, there are a few things that are self-contingent. They don't need the why for me, right? And this is one of those where in my brain, it is better to try. It is better to push more. It's better to pull out the sword. It's better to die fighting than it is to die taking it like a bitch, right? That dude just totally ran the fuck out of that red light. What? What a jackass. That dude's a dumbass. What? Are you serious? Okay, what an idiot. Whatever. I think, and I wonder if I could do something with this why. Like, maybe if I had this, that this is one of those TikTok quotes that you'll see. A man who has any why can endure anyhow. Maybe it's true, maybe if I had something more about what pushes me and why I believe this is the truth of facing the music instead of, closing your eyes, then maybe I could accomplish more. And I don't know. I don't know, right? So I've kind of brought myself into some sort of hole here. And now, this is the fun part, I guess, about life is I get to think about it. I get to think, why does this matter? It's because when you think about it, if you make the logical argument about life, right? And now let's presuppose some conditions onto what I'm about to say. This is this argument for why it doesn't matter that I'm about to kind of put forth is contingent on there being no afterlife, there being no moral judger, as in no God, no karmic system behind it, no samsara, like reincarnation cycle going on here. It's very much, before you were born, you were nothing. When you die, you are nothing. Okay? You can argue with me about it. I would love to have a conversation about if there's an afterlife. That's an interesting topic, but that is not a topic for today, because I think this video would be 3 hours long. However, those are the conditions. So, okay, if we assume all those conditions, then what's the point, right? If there's no heaven to live for, and there's no point in trying to be nice because you want your reincarnation you want to reincarnate as like the Nepo baby that we all envy, then why, that begs the question of why be good, right? I think there's a very simple answer to that. It's living a good life inherently makes your life better, not from some like karmic system in the background that pushes your life to actually be better. I think that people who do nice things generally are just happier. I don't know what the research is on that, but I think we all know that. It's like, look who you envy. Look at the people you envy. If you're envying like bad people, then you probably got some bigger issues to fry. But I think that if you see like, man, that person looks like their life is really nice, and they're generally probably a nice person. I think that you'll probably just enjoy your life more if you didn't spend all your time thinking about things to hate about. Instead, you just thought about a bunch of nice things you could be nice to people about, and not saying morality is just being nice, because there's a fine line between good and nice and genuine kindness and just being polite, but that's not the topic. But then why does it matter to die fighting, If I'm gonna die in 60 years, and a million years from now, humans won't even exist. I hate to break it to you, but that's probably true. Then why does any of this, why? You know what I'm saying? Like, don't really matter, do it? You know what I mean? It's like, why fight? Like, why fight? Why do all that? And see, I haven't articulated the reasoning. Sorry, I just keep on saying why. There's no point, right? This is the position I'm taking, is that there's no point, right? There's no point to life, or there is no big meaning to life, because ultimately, everyone will die. Everyone you ever knew, everyone you ever loved, everyone that you've ever had a crush on, everyone that you've ever thought their outfit looked good will die. Your kids will die. 3 generations from now, nobody will remember your name. And even the people you think, Jesus. Almost everyone on earth knows who Jesus is. Eventually, whatever consciousness is, every conscious being will not even know who Jesus was, what he did, eventually everyone will forget. So when you look at it from that perspective, who cares if you die fighting? Who cares if you have your sword out? Who cares if you're trying really hard and you're still failing? Why persevere? Right? There's no point. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say, is that there is no reason. Which, God, that's a doomer mindset, is it not? I don't know. I just don't have a good rebuttal. I guess it's just the indomitable human spirit. How cringy that is, probably pretty cringe. But it just seems to be that is the only answer. It's that there are arguments. There are arguments to be made that that Neil deGrasse Tyson clip. He says, flowers are only a special gift because they die. You know, in like a week, these flowers are gonna look like shit. So you really gotta love the shit out of them while they're still here. You gotta put them in water. You gotta, fluff up the edges or whatever, and trim them, and do this, and all you want, right? And enjoy them because it's ephemeral. It's gonna be gone soon. So why not try and treat life like a flower case, right? Or not flower, a bouquet of flowers. Trim, put yourself in water. Don't dry yourself up, because then you don't get to enjoy it as much, and people around you don't get to enjoy you as much too. But again, when you look at, I just think humans were never meant to understand time, or not understand time, but understand the scale of time, because it's infinite, and everything, when you look at it from a time scale of like a million years, human history is what, 5,000? Not even. Did we even have writing from like 6,000? Maybe. Was it the Sumerian tablet, the earliest written thing we have? So that's like recorded histories. Like that's it. I think it might be like 6,000 years. We've lived for like 200,000 years. So multiply the totality of humans, not even human history, by 5, and you get a million years. That's a huge time scale, and it's not, I don't think we're meant to understand that. And I think that when you look at it from that lens of like, look man, in a million years your life is never going to be meaningless, blah, blah, blah. But I think that it has meaning, that our lives have some sort of meaning, not capital M. I think I've talked about this before. It's not capital M. It's not, there's no universality in meaning, because that's just, think logically, bro. There's no real sharp point to life, but there is some meaning you can have by flourishing. Edumanamo, something like that. I don't know. Virtue is Aristotle. Dude just yaps, bro. That guy just. But there is some little meaning of, I can make my life as beautiful as possible, and those around me can see that beauty, and they can enjoy that beauty. And I think that's what we just gotta live with. And yeah, I don't know. I don't got anything else to say. I've been yapping for a while. This is a long video. I also just peeped the new phone. Don't gotta care that much about the storage no more. Hey yo, no cuts. It's like an hour-long video. So I doubled up my storage. That is fire. I'm really, really happy about that. So yeah, I don't know. Oh, I have so many thoughts to talk about. It's a 49-minute long video. Do I continue conversing? Yes. The I don't think that we can generate real meaning, only that we can emulate it. I think, actually, I don't think that's a good way to start what I want to say. Forget that. I don't want to die on that hill. But I think that the not harsh. The point, I saw a video the other day of this guy talking about poverty in the southern United States, like the Alabama, Georgia, deep south, like very, very isolated communities. And he says these people are just sitting there waiting around to die. And he paints the picture. It's like, oh wow, it's like, when you're there's nothing to do. It's either you have your job, you maybe like will get groceries if you have a grocery store, and then then you just fucking sit around. That's like, you just sit around. And then he compares it to the city. It's like, at least in the city you have all these activities and these things, and you can go sit at a bar and drink a drink there, and go walk around in Central Park, and you can go and you can do an escape room, and you can do this and that and this and this and this. You can go see the Statue of Liberty. And everyone in the comments is like, yeah, this is so true, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, sit there for a second and think about it. Like, why is you've filled your life to the brim with these, I don't want to say meaningless, but these activities that don't seem to generate much value or much. They seem like their only purpose is just to capture your attention for a little bit, right? What does doing an escape room do? Maybe you go with like your friends, and it's like a fun friend bonding thing, and your friendships get stronger, and that has some value. But humans used to hunt. If you couldn't run miles, and you couldn't hit a shot with the bow and arrow, you weren't eating that day. And now you are in a, submarine-themed escape room in which you are stimulating your brain by typing in a bunch of different codes because some dude saw like a serial number on a lamp that you were told not to move. Like, seems like we're just trying to fill some void. You're trying to fill this void of attention and brain. Like, your brain needs to be working, and you're trying to fill it. And why is that so much better than the person that sits there and does nothing? Why is that life better? Why? I think that it's probably more fun, right? Because you're distracted. But it seems that the person waiting for death is just sitting there waiting, right? But then the person that, that we paint this picture of the guy in the city, or girl, or they, or whatever. And it seems that the person in the city is trying to run away and escape death, and yet the person in the deep south living in quote-unquote poverty, deep south there's some poverty there. I don't know why I said quote-unquote. The person living in the deep south and the person in the city both will die, right? Just because you filled your life with activities and in these short-lived experiences, and you die. You're in the same boat. You sit there, you're dead. And so why do we villainize these simpler lives? And I mean, I think that for me, I've come to the conclusion that I want to experience a lot of things. And the reason is because I want to maximize my time, because I know it's just short-lived. Not to escape death, but time flies when you do the same thing over and over again. Talk to a dude that worked at one company in one position for like 35 years. He'll tell you that it feels like went by like this. That 10 years ago felt like it was 2. And that, 20 years felt like it was 4. And that is super scary to me because I know how short life is. I don't want to say how valuable it is because, that's kind of the topic of discussion is it valuable? But I know it's super short. And I want to maximize it. I think that maximizing it is, time is relative. It can feel very fast. And I don't want it to feel fast. I want it to feel like I was here for a while and I got to do a lot of things. But I think that I'm coming to the same conclusion that I'd rather be the person in the city. But I think that the people who are romanticizing this city life versus the person who's just sitting around waiting for death is wrong. It's that you shouldn't champion I get to experience I get to do all these activities. It should be I get to live a life that feels longer and that feels more full because I get to experience a bunch of different things. And I think that the feeling was different. It's that, oh, I'm filling my life up with all these great things. It's now my life is meaningful. It's not really meaningful. It's just you did a bunch of random stuff. Okay. It's not super meaningful. I don't know. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say. So, yep. I guess I'm out. So I'm done. So, shit. Peace out. Yeah.